Hi, let's start with our exposure triangle. So today we will be focusing on shutter speed. So for you to be able to control the settings that we're going to speak about, you must be shooting in manual mode and not automatic mode. So let's talk about shutter speed. What is the use of shutter speed? Shutter speed helps us to catch motion, speed. It talks about the speed of the subject. So meaning the car that you're shooting, the person that you're shooting, it deals with motion. So how do we see shutter speed into our camera? It's in this form. You see it's written 1 over a number. So meaning that it can be 1 over 5 or 1 over 100 or 1 over 10,000. But now what are these numbers representing? These numbers are representing two things. First, they represent how fast the shutter is going to be for you to be able to grab the motion of the person that you want to shoot or the subject. Second of all, they represent the light. So meaning that the lower the number, the brighter the picture is going to become, right? So this is an example of a slow shutter speed. So the higher the number, the darker the picture becomes. So meaning that if we're shooting with shutter speeds that are over 1000, our picture becomes darker. So this is an example of a darker picture. Right? So now let's talk about the second part of it. The second part of it adds motion blur. So sometimes to be able to freeze moments, you need to be using certain types of shutter speed. So this is an example that we will be using. This is a hand of a person moving. So we're going to use different shutter speed to show motion blur and how to freeze moments. So if you are using slow shutter speeds, you're going to get motion blur, and it's going to make your pictures to be soft and not sharp also too. And if you are using high shutter speeds, you're going to get sharp pictures and you're going to be able to freeze moments. So that's the purpose of shutter speed. Also, there are some cool effects that you can use with shutter speed. So let's take this an example that I was shooting today, a river. So you can use shutter speed for longer exposure pictures. So what is a longer exposure pictures? It's when the shutter is opening for a long time. So using slow shutter speeds like 3 seconds, 15 seconds, it's like this. So you will get pictures like this. Okay, let's speak about the disadvantages and advantages of slow shutter speeds. Slow shutter speeds, advantages of them is that you're going to be able to get more light on the camera, meaning that you will be able to shoot in darker spaces. That's the advantage. But the disadvantage is that you are not going to be able to capture more motion. So meaning that there should be less motion. So the things that you should be shooting when you are shooting with so slow shutter speed should be stationary, meaning they should be like this, not moving. That's the thing. So let's go to fast shutter speed. Advantages of fast shutter speed is that you're going to get sharper pictures, meaning they're going to be sharp, and also you're going to be able to catch fast movement. That's that. But the disadvantage of fast shutter speed is that you're going to get darker pictures. So now you need more light. So that's that with for shutter speed. We are done with it. So this was the basic understanding in regards to the shutter speed. Later on, I'm gonna do a video in the advance of the shutter speed in regards to how does shutter speed affect your when you're shooting in flash, your high sync speed, the flash sync speed also towards your camera. Lastly, the shutter speed in relation to the in-body stabilization that has to do with what's the lowest shutter speed that you can use holding the camera, because of the certain shutter speed that you can use when you are holding a camera, because of you'll get blurry or motion blur into your pictures. So that's about it. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please note them down below. See you on the next one.